Here's my first look at Ground of Aces, which is a World War II base building game. This is made by Blind Flug Studios, and it's a really clever little game with some beautiful artwork, nice music, and lots to do. It's an indie game, as Blind Flug Studios is an indie game developer. Let's have a little look at the roadmap first, though, before we jump into the game. And this started out in 2023 as a Kickstarter project, got 350% funded thanks to the amazing backers. And then over time, we've seen Alpha 1, Alpha 2, Alpha 3, Alpha 4. And what I'm looking at now is Alpha 5. And this is when Blind Flood got in contact with me and said, hey, would you have a quick look at our base building game? Now, what stands us out from standard base builders is the angle of the game and the artwork. It's got this beautiful artwork of a comic book style, like the old French comic books with this lovely line drawings and these nice colours. It's got beautiful themed music, and the other thing about it is it focuses on the idea of building planes on an RAF base, which is a lot of fun. So let's have a little look at it. So you pick a map to start with. So there's two in the alpha that I've got access to at the moment, and the one I've been working on is Litchfield. And you start with crew members of 8, and you've got to build up a base, and it's fun. So we'll start here. Again, lovely artwork that we see inside the game, nice themed music, lots to enjoy here. And I will cut to various things that I think are interesting and try and keep this to under 10 minutes. Just to give you an idea of what the game is about. You start out and you get a nice intro to the game, so it tells you about that you've been allocated a plot of land to build a new RAF airfield, which supplies you with a ground crew and a shipment of starter resources. Also tells you that supplies are in high demand, so gather what you can from the local area. Nice idea. Maybe not the most realistic for an RAF base, but you get the idea. There's also a little bit of information what you've got to do. You've got to sort out a designated runway, you need parking spots for your planes, and sleeping quarters for the pilots. Fair dues. But as the base commander, hooray! The morale of your people is critical for success. You need to manage their confidence, energy, and mood, all that good stuff. And lastly, once you've sorted everything out, there will be regular flight missions and weekly orders to do your part in winning the war. So far, so good. So you start out here. These are our little dudes, and if we zoom in here with a mouse wheel, you can see they look pretty cool. Nice little idea here, and we have this little base that we start out with. You've got a bunch of resources to start with, but you also need to crack on and start harvesting things and getting other resources to help you in the game. And you've got loads of different controls and different things, but you've basically got these are your resources, and you can scavenge the local area and also make further ones as you go. So if I want to harvest, say, this lot here and put these guys to work, I can do that, and away they go. You can see that the alpha's working well. We're getting little tips on what to do. There was a nice 30-minute tutorial at the start. I can't remember whether I mentioned that, but that really helped me get to grips with the basics of the game. And then you need to think about keeping these guys happy. So they need somewhere to sleep. They need some food to eat. They need shelter, entertainment. And of course, we are an RAF base, so we need to start building a runway at some point. But Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither is this RAF base. So the idea then is you then start building your various bits and bobs to help them produce all the bits that we need to get planes up in the sky. So they're starting to chop down wood, and you can see down below here we have some hints of the sort of things that we need to do. So we need to sort out a saw station, a kitchen, we need a runway, we need to sort out beds, and there's not enough chairs either. Nothing worse than having no chair to sit on, is there? So like most base building games, you've got buildings and props and areas and all sorts of things like this. So if we have a little look at what these are, buildings would be funny enough for building buildings. So you click this and you can build things like floors and walls, and do this out of different materials as well. So there's a part built one here that we could fix. We grab the floor here and we could just sort this out like so. And then some of our team should come and build that in a second when they're free. But at the minute they are sorting out resources. Talking of our team, you can actually allocate them to different things as well. So you can say what you want them to be working on. And there is actually something behind my camera. Let me just hide this a second for you there. And you can see that you can have them focus on things like building or cooking, crafting and repairs, all that sort of stuff. And again, great that we've got these little tutorials to go with. So as well as building things like we've got there, so you'll see that they're now taking the resources to build the floor, and then I can build the walls and basically build up something like this. We can also build other things as well, like workbenches. So if we go to props, And then we go to workbenches. One of the things we needed was a saw station. We've got a little arrow there. We can rotate things around where we want to basically put them, and then that will get built. We also need a cooking area, so I'm going to build a field kitchen, and I'll pop this over here. And then I need to keep an eye on these things, the food, the water, all these bits and bobs here, and build them up like we do with any base builder. When you look at one of your crew members, you see these little things here. So we've got confidence, energy, and mood. And you need to manage these effectively to make sure that the crew stays productive and everything goes to schedule. Happy crew members will work better. They won't grumble so much and everything is good. At the minute, the base morale is pretty good, and this is built up of these overall things. So these added together and averaged gives the overall morale that we see here. And there's various things that you can build to improve morale. So what I will do is just jump to a more developed base and explain some of those things for you. It's slightly later in the game, and I'll just show you some of the things that I've been working on. I've got a garden all built up here where we are producing various bits and bobs. So we've got seeds, we've got food, we've got a little tent here for indoor work stuff. So we've got an electronics workbench, so I can produce various bits and bobs there. We've got this little radio, which will help improve staff morale or confidence. We've got this tarp station where we can build a tarpaulin to build more things, so I can just set that up to be produced. I'm working on my airstrip and improving it. So this is a tier 2 airstrip that we see here. So that's quite cool. That basically once you build an airstrip, if you build it wider and longer and make it out of better materials, you can have access to heavier and better planes. So the tier 1 one, which is the slimmest and the shortest runway, can only use these, and you can get these if you've got no victory points. But as you complete missions, you earn victory points, and they unlock these additional planes. So I could have a Hawker Hurricane because I've got 4 victory points here, so I could have one of these, or a Bristol Bowfighter here. If I want tier 3, I need to make my runway wider and longer, and then I would get these, but I can't afford this Bitfire at the minute because I have only got 4 victory points. So to create the more advanced things, you're talking about making workbenches. And so if I want to make bricks, for example, I need to use this here, and it'll tell me what resources I need for this. So if we have a little look, I need clay and I need water. So if we have a little look around, this water supply has run out. So I just look around for different areas where we might find a bit of water or clay, and we just scoot around and just see what we can find. So there's some clay, so I can harvest that like so. So let's just say that one and that one. There's a bit of sand there, which is what I used for my tier 2 runway. And there's a bit of water, so you can see that there. So you can see the water seems to be being left there, which is miles away from my base. And one of the things you can easily run into is this could all be full, your storage area. So I may need to decide to create another storage area, and ideally I want to have that covered, but just for argument's sake, we'll say build a storage area here, and I could say chuck everything in there, or I could narrow it down and say, not everything, but that's entirely up to you. When I do that, what we should see is the team will start moving resources there. So you could have different areas where you can say, I just want food here, or I just want wood here, that sort of thing. And you can see everybody moves around to do that. What's quite interesting with the game is there's so much to do. It keeps you busy, but it's not overly complicated. Everything works in a similar fashion. So the workbenches all work in a similar way, but they all need different materials. And I can have a little look here and start setting up queues for different things. So I still need to sort out that problem with the lack of clay, but hopefully as the guys go to work shortly, that will all be sorted. You can see this thing here that says leisure. You can build in leisure time or sleep time and shorten or lengthen that to help keep your team happy, or improve the work in times where you need to work harder. So it's quite nice the way it works. The last thing I want to show you is a mission, which I'll fast forward to and just show you that when one pops up. So you can see behind me an artillery spotting mission. So if we have a little look at that, we can apply up to 3 aeroplanes here. I've got 2, so we've got Henry. And if I put him in, you can see he will get 100% success rate for that. I could pop the other pilot in just for a bit of fun as well. And in theory, if they're both successful, they should both get something out of it. So we'll do that in this case and send them off and see what happens. So we'll start the mission and just fast forward that. And then down here, you can find out a bit of information about it. And when it's all done, we should see an update at the end. So you can see down the bottom left, target zone marked, artillery bombardment has begun. We get the update behind me, mission successful, and if we have a little look at that, we can see that it improved both their crew mood by 15. So pilots, of course, get happy when they successfully complete a mission and a little sadder if they don't complete the mission. We also get a victory point for that and 20 base confidence. So the more of these you can successfully complete, the more successful your base is going to be. But there's our planes coming back in nice and safe, and then they will go into the parking area there. And it's really cute the way it goes. You can see this plane here as it moves into place. You can see the health of it. You can also repair these, and we're also going to need some fuel here, so we need to think about sorting out a fuel supply on here to make sure the planes can still go in the sky. So there's lots of things that you can build, but they rely on other things as well. So when we go into the props menu and we look at outdoors, we need this fuel tank here, which is metal and cement, which we should be able to do here, and we can just pop that there in the middle. And then our team will build that so we can refuel our planes. So there's lots of things to think about. The planes, you need to keep your team happy. You can see one of these guys here is getting a bit stressed. So if we're going to have a little look at them, see what's wrong with them, we can then try and figure out how to make them happier. So you can see needs to complete missions, which is difficult with this guy at the minute. You can see he needs leisure activities, so we can improve that by adding things to the base. So there's lots of things here that we could do. For example, build a piano, but I need luxury goods for that, or a guitar or gramophone. To get those luxury goods, I can have a little look at other things that we can build. So if we have a little look at the workstations, workbenches, some of these, you will see it can produce luxury goods. So this one, for example, the herb dryer needs 10 planks, and then it can produce luxury goods. So you just build things like this and just keep building things up to improve the base. So there you go. That's my first impressions of Ground of Aces. I think it's a great looking game, great idea by a very savvy indie developer. So Blind Flug Studios, well done on that. It's been nice that they reached out to me to make me aware of the game, and I hope you found this video of interest. If you want to keep up to date with the game, do have a little look at their website. So just search Ground of Aces and it'll pop up. You can also find the links in my description. Do remember, of course, that it is an alpha at the minute, so gameplay is going to get tighter and better as time develops. But already I enjoyed a very solid looking game with a great idea and some lovely artwork. Love to know your thoughts on it. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe if you like this sort of video. Thanks.